Hi there, and welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today we are gonna make Thai chicken lettuce wraps. And these lettuce wraps are better than PF Chang's, I promise you. And it's super easy to do in the Ninja Foodi. We're gonna use the sear saute function. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the Ninja Foodi on, turn it to sear saute. High is what you want for right now. We might adjust that a little later, but for right now you want it to be on high. And what I have here is 1/2 of a cup of rice vinegar and 1/4 cup of honey. So we want to get those into the bottom of the pot, and then we're going to let that saute with some red peppers for about 5 minutes or so until it reduces by half. This is a very important step. Otherwise, it'll still taste delicious, but if you don't let it reduce enough, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with kind of a liquidy mixture for your lettuce wraps. All right, I'm just stirring this around just to combine the honey with the vinegar so that the honey doesn't start to burn on the bottom of the inner pot of the Ninja Foodi. Especially with the design of the pot here, with it being convex, the center is a little bit raised, so you can see that all of the liquid and stuff is going to the outside, which is fine. That's gonna work fine, but we don't want the honey sitting in the center, because if it sits in the center, then the honey will start to burn. All right, that looks good. Now, we're gonna add in some red chili peppers. And I wanted to talk about those for a few minutes because there's so many different kinds of hot red peppers. So what I call for in this recipe are the red peppers that are actually start out as like jalapeno peppers. These came out of my garden and they're jalapenos, but then they start to go red. But trust me, I am no expert on peppers because there are a gazillion different varieties. So I tasted this, which came out of my garden, and it's supposed to be like a red chili pepper, but it's not very hot. So I also have these Thai chili peppers with some seeds in there, and I added a few in because I really love a spicy, sweet chicken wrap. So I'm just using a mixture. Also, this one here though is actually a sweet pepper, and you can use those too if you don't like any heat, or if you just can't find them, you could use the sweet pepper and then add in some red pepper flakes to get that heat. And these are also red peppers, so you can see they just vary so much. These are red hot peppers as well. It's amazing how many kind of peppers there are. Just use what you like. Bottom line, you want to use jalapeno peppers? Use jalapeno peppers. It'll be fine. Use what you like. So I'm going to put those in now because I do want them to have a chance to sort of soften up a little bit and infuse their flavor into the vinegar and the honey. So we're just gonna put those over, and I'm gonna move them over to the sides. Now, if you don't like things spicy, and you like maybe a little mild spice, remove the seeds from any hot pepper that you're gonna use. All right, so we're just gonna let that go in there and reduce for about 5 minutes or so until it's half of the original volume. So meanwhile, while that's happening, I am gonna get the rest of my garnishes together because this is a really fast meal. It only takes a few minutes in the Ninja Foodi to pull together. So we wanna have our toppings so we can assemble our lettuce wraps as soon as the chicken mixture is done. So what I have here is some peanuts that I've already crushed, and I just used my Pampered Chef tenderizer because there's two sides to it. There's a side for tenderizing meat, which is the pointy side. And this thing's really heavy, honestly. So it's a pointy side, so that tenderizes, like if you wanted to tenderize beef or something like that, that works great. But then the other side is just flat. So I use that to pound chicken and also crush nuts, crush cookies, things like that. All right, so they're already done. I have 2 tablespoons of cilantro already chopped up. That's gonna go in at the end. It's gonna go in with our mixture, but at the very end. I have about 2 tablespoons of green onions that I've already chopped up, and some cucumber slices. Those are gonna go on top of our lettuce wrap, and it adds a nice little crunch and a coolness, so it balances out the heat really nicely. Then I have a carrot, and so what you can do your carrot any which way. You could grate them. So you could use something like this, which does a little bit bigger of a grate than a regular grater. This is the veggie strip maker. Makes a little bit bigger slices. or you could use a regular grater, or you could do what I'm gonna do, which is matchsticks. And the reason why I'm choosing to do matchsticks is because I like that extra crunch, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna cut one slice of the carrot, and then I'm gonna turn the carrot over so that it's on a flat surface. That is gonna make it safe, and it won't roll around on you. And I am not being specific about this at all because it doesn't matter. You know, I'm just gonna cut them to the best of my ability. So I'm just gonna cut these slices like this, and then we're gonna cut them up into little strips. But when it starts to get wobbly and that knife starts coming towards you, flip it over again. All right, so I'm just getting these into little matchsticks, as they're called. And I hear this boiling away. That's great. That's exactly what we want. All right, that looks perfect. Last few here. You could also use cabbage. I've done that a lot when I make these. So I get some purple cabbage. It's absolutely beautiful to use as a topping. And I just kind of cut it up into little strips, and I just use that as a garnish as well. And you can also use bean sprouts. So, you know, use whatever garnishes you like. I'm gonna give this a quick stir. Just see how we're coming along. We're not quite reduced enough, so I'm gonna keep on going with that just about a minute or two. And in this bowl, I have 2 cloves of garlic that I've minced. The recipe calls for 3, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to mince garlic if you have a garlic press. So all you do is take the clove, throw it in, no need to peel it, nothing like that, and squeeze. And there out comes the garlic. And then when you're ready to clean this out, it just stays right here. So you just pull it off. Isn't that awesome? This is from Pampered Chef. I absolutely love it. And I've had this probably, I don't know, 25 years. So it really lasts a super long time. All right, so there the garlic is done. Take a peek over here. We're almost ready to put in the chicken, but not quite. I want it to go just a little bit further. So meanwhile, we'll go ahead and get our ginger peeled. So this is just some fresh ginger. So I'm gonna peel down about 1 inch. The easiest way to do this I've found is with a spoon, because you can really get around all of the little nubs that are on the ginger. And even if you need to, you can actually just take them off. Sometimes that makes it easier when you're gonna grate it. All right, perfect. That looks like that's gonna be enough. And so I'm just gonna take my little grater here. We want about a teaspoon. And it definitely is gonna collect on the underside, so I usually just take a spoon down here like that, or a little knife would work. All right, perfect. That looks great. And I think we're ready to add in our chicken. Yep, that looks good. It's reduced in half and it's starting to kind of darken up some. So what I'm gonna do is take out, this is 1 pound of ground chicken, and I'm gonna try not to get the juice that's in the bottom. I'm just gonna put that in. I had this frozen, so it actually gave off a little more liquid than if it was just fresh. So I'm trying not to grab any of that. We don't need any extra liquid in the chicken wraps. All right, there we go. So now I'm just gonna break this up a little bit, get it into the sauce. This is when things start to move pretty quickly. I'm gonna put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1 tablespoon of lemongrass, which is like, oh my gosh, so delicious. You can usually find this in your refrigerated section of your grocery store where the herbs are actually. So it's in the produce aisle, but it is refrigerated. So, you know, sometimes they'll have like the refrigerated right above the fresh herbs. 1 tablespoon of that. Now, if you can't find lemongrass, you can omit it. Maybe put a little bit of lemon zest in there, but we're gonna add some orange zest too. So I think you'd be okay if you couldn't find the lemongrass, but it does just add that layer of flavor. You know how I love to layer the flavors. All right, this is looking good. We're gonna put in our garlic and our ginger. Get those in there. All right, now we're gonna let that continue to cook. And what I need to do now is zest my orange. So I have 1 orange here. We're gonna use 2 tablespoons of orange juice and the zest of 1 orange. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly zest in, directly into the pot is fine. No need to dirty another dish or anything. And what I'm doing is I'm going lightly over the skin with my fine grater here. So I'm not removing the pith, which is the white part underneath that bright orange skin. You don't want to remove that or it will become very bitter. I've also used those little clementines in this dish before, and so if you have those, you can use those. Any kind of an orange will work. All right, that looks good. And I'm just gonna take my orange now and cut it in half. Now I'm gonna use this bowl because I wanna eyeball how much orange juice I'm getting out. You know, every orange is different with what amount of juice, and I want about 2 tablespoons. You don't wanna go overboard with that because if you have too much orange juice in there, number one, it'll be liquidy, but then that orange flavor will be overpowering, and you don't really want that. All right, that looks like a good tablespoon, so let's just see. Is that about a tablespoon? Yeah, just a little shy of a tablespoon, so that's great. So this will be about half of this orange. But again, every orange is different. Pretty good. Little less than 2 tablespoons, but that'll be fine. All right, let's mix this around. All right, this is looking really good and it smells amazing, but I want to see if I can get a little bit of color, a little bit of browning on that chicken. So what I'm going to do, and this is totally optional because it would taste delicious, we could add in the rest of our ingredients and plate up now. But I kind of want to see if I can get some browning, which will help to deepen those flavors as well. So I'm going to use the broil function. I'm going to put the lid down and hit the broil and just hit start. 10 minutes it defaults to, that's fine. I don't think it's gonna take 10 minutes, but while that's going on, I'm gonna clean up my workspace here so that we can get ready to add in our last few ingredients and plate up our Thai chicken lettuce wraps. All right, so it's been just about 5 minutes on the broil, so let's see if we've gotten any browning. And yes, it has browned up some. And all of the liquid has dissipated, which means it's reduced down and concentrated the flavors. That looks really good. So I'm very pleased with that. And now we can add in the rest of our few ingredients. These don't need to be cooked. That's why we add them at the end. That is the 2 tablespoons of cilantro, 2 tablespoons of green onion just chopped up. And then it's up to you if you want to add in the peanuts now. I usually go ahead and do that. And this is probably about 3 tablespoons of crushed peanuts. But you could also leave them and just put them on as garnish. So if you have somebody who has a peanut allergy, you don't need to add them in at this point. You can just leave them out. All right, there we go. Oh, that looks so good. The first time I had any kind of a chicken lettuce wrap was at PF Chang's, and I thought it was so delicious. I was like, I have got to make these at home. And I tried several times. I mean, several times. Let me go ahead and move this over here. And I never got it right. And then I made this version, and it's even better. And it's beautiful, and it's healthy. Everybody's gonna love these. You can serve them with lettuce wraps, or you can also make them, you could also serve them on my Asian steam buns. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? So I made these Asian steam buns in the Ninja Foodi, and I will link to those right up there because this would be great to serve on them. Perfect. All right, so now I just have a few little lettuce leaves here that I'm gonna use to make my lettuce wraps. So what I'm gonna do is, I'll use this spoon here, I guess. Just spoon some on. Look at how beautiful that is. Perfect. Now, if you liked it really spicy, you could actually chop up another pepper. I'm gonna not do that this time. I'm gonna put on a couple of cucumbers and a couple of carrots here. And wow, that just looks so beautiful. So now I'm just gonna wrap it up a little bit here. Now I had a thing of lettuce, iceberg lettuce that we had already eaten for a salad a couple times. So I don't have the really big cups, but you can make really big cups for your lettuce wraps from a whole head of lettuce. You just cut the stem off and then start peeling off the outer layers, and you'll have really nice big lettuce cups. But this is gonna work fine, so let's give it a taste. Amazing. Really amazing. Oh my goodness, I cannot even begin to tell you how wonderful the flavors are in here. It is like a little sweet heat. It's not overly spicy. It's perfect. Oh, I have to take another bite. There we go. Wow. These are so good. You could even just chop up some lettuce and put it on top and just make a little salad with it. Oh my goodness. This one is so good, quick and easy, perfect for a weeknight meal. So be sure to give it a try. I just wanted to real quick thank Wendy and her daughter because they are the inspiration for me making this dish in the Ninja Foodi. This recipe's been on my blog for a while. It was made stovetop, and she wrote the nicest email and the nicest comment about how delicious this was, and it prompted me to go ahead and convert it to the Ninja Foodi. So thanks, Wendy.